Hello everyone, and welcome to Behind the Bulletin. Today, we're going live with a story that has taken the public completely by surprise. In the truth behind Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen's sudden Beijing marriage, we uncover what really happened behind a wedding that no one saw coming, and why the timing has left fans and insiders stunned. Was it love, pressure, or something far more complicated? What pushed this decision to happen so fast? Right in the heart of Beijing? Stay with us as we break down the hidden details, the unanswered questions, and the real reason shaking public opinion. Let's dive in, live, right now. Happened without warning. No carefully staged countdown. No months of teasing headlines. No slow build toward a public celebration. One moment, Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen were a popular on-screen pair whose relationship remained wrapped in ambiguity. The next, the word marriage exploded across social media, sudden, undeniable, and centered in Beijing. The public reaction was instant and chaotic. Fans refreshed timelines in disbelief. Entertainment insiders whispered behind closed doors. Even veteran reporters hesitated, unsure how such a tightly guarded decision could surface so abruptly. The question was the same everywhere. Why now? In the weeks leading up to the announcement, there had been signs, subtle enough to ignore, yet obvious in hindsight. Wang Ziqi had quietly withdrawn from several public appearances. Wang Yuwen's schedule shifted unexpectedly. Interviews postponed without explanation. Neither offered reasons. Neither denied rumors. Silence became the loudest signal. Then came the confirmation. Not a grand statement. Not a celebratory photoshoot. Just a brief, restrained acknowledgement that they were, in fact, married, already. In Beijing, the speed of it all unsettled even the most loyal supporters. This was not how celebrity marriages usually unfolded. There was no sense of preparation, easing the public into the idea. It felt rushed. And that was exactly what made it shocking. Sources close to the couple described the atmosphere before the wedding as heavy. Not chaotic, controlled. Not joyful, restrained. Those who witnessed Wang Ziqi in private settings noted a tension beneath his calm demeanor. He smiled, but his eyes often lingered elsewhere, as if calculating consequences instead of savoring happiness. Wang Yuwen, meanwhile, appeared composed to the point of fragility, graceful, polite, yet distant. Love was never denied. Love alone did not seem to explain the urgency. Speculation spread rapidly. Was there pressure from management? An unavoidable turning point behind the scenes? A decision forced by timing rather than desire? People remained silent as the theories multiplied. In that silence, the narrative grew darker. Because rushed decisions, especially ones this life-altering, are rarely simple. After the wedding, the shock did not fade, it deepened. Rather than relief or celebration, followed was scrutiny. Every past interview was re-examined. Every interaction dissected. Moments once dismissed as harmless suddenly carried new weight. When Wang Yuwen had once said, "Some choices don't wait until you're ready," the line resurfaced everywhere. When Wang Ziqi spoke about responsibility outweighing freedom, fans wondered whether those words were confessions in disguise. The truth, when it began to surface, not explosive in the way rumors promised. It was quieter. Far more unsettling. According to those familiar with the situation, marriage was not born from scandal, nor from obligation in the sensational sense. It came from pressure, layered, relentless pressure, the kind that builds slowly until escape feels impossible. Public expectation. Fear timing. The fear of losing control over one's own story. At some point, delaying the decision became more dangerous than making it. Wang Ziqi reportedly struggled with the weight of permanence. Marriage was not the dream, stability was. A way to stop the noise. A way to draw a line the world could not easily cross. Wang Yuwen, on the other hand, faced a different fear. That waiting longer would mean losing the courage to choose at all. That hesitation would turn love into regret. Their decision, insiders say, came late at night. No advisors. No grand discussion. Just a realization that time had run out. After the ceremony, those closest to them noticed a change, not distance, but seriousness. They moved like people who had stepped into something irreversible, fully aware of its weight. No tears in public. No declarations of bliss. Just composure. And that composure spoke louder than joy ever could. The truth behind their sudden marriage was not scandalous, it was human. Two people cornered by circumstance. Choosing certainty over chaos. Choosing commitment not because everything felt perfect, but because waiting felt unbearable. The public may never know every detail. But one thing is clear. It's not a fairy tale. It was a decision made under pressure, sealed with resolve, and carried forward with quiet determination. In the glare of Beijing's lights, Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen did not run toward marriage. They stepped into it, quickly, deliberately, and knowing exactly how much it would cost. What happened after the wedding was, in many ways, more unsettling than the speed of the marriage itself. There was no honeymoon glow, no flood of affectionate posts, no carefully curated image of newlywed bliss. Instead, there was restraint. Wang Ziqi returned to work with a noticeably different energy. On set, colleagues described him as more focused, more guarded, as if every movement carried an added layer of responsibility. He spoke less, listened more, and avoided conversations that drifted too close to his personal life. The laughter that once came easily now appeared only in brief flashes, quickly contained. Wang Yuwen, meanwhile, to retreat inward. Public appearances became rare. When she did appear, her smile felt practiced rather than spontaneous. Observers noted how she often clasped her hands together, grounding herself, as if reminding her body to stay calm while her thoughts raced elsewhere. The public, sensing the shift, grew restless. If this was a happy ending, why did it feel so heavy? It was reignited. Some claimed the marriage had solved nothing. Others insisted the couple was struggling to adjust to a reality neither had fully processed. Every minor change became evidence. Silence became suspicious. Behind closed doors, however, the truth was far more complex. Marriage did not bring relief, it brought clarity. For the first time, both Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen were forced to confront the cost of their decision without the buffer of anticipation. The world had stopped speculating about if they would marry. It speculated about why, how, and what went wrong. The pressure did not disappear. It changed shape. Wang Ziqi reportedly struggled with the loss of control over his narrative. What had been a private choice now belonged to the public. News became minefields. Every word weighed for unintended meaning. He worried not about himself, but about how his silence might be interpreted as weakness, or worse, regret. Wang Yuwen faced a different burden. She carried the emotional weight of expectation, to appear content, grateful, fulfilled. Admitting uncertainty felt forbidden. That would invalidate the choice they had already made. Uncertainty lingered. Quiet but persistent. Late at night, sources say, the couple talked more than they ever had before. Not about romance, but about fear. About identity. About whether choosing stability meant sacrificing freedom, or whether freedom had always been an illusion to begin with. They did not argue loudly. They did not dramatize their struggles. Their tension was subtle, expressed in pauses, in unfinished sentences, in the way they sometimes sat side by side without touching. And yet, they stayed. That, perhaps, was the most revealing detail. Despite the weight, despite the scrutiny, despite the internal reckoning, neither attempted to step back from the decision. There were no signs of escape. No quiet distancing. What they chose instead was endurance. The public wanted a revelation, a scandal, a secret. A single explosive reason that would make sense of everything. But the reality offered no such clarity. Truth was not one moment. It was a series of moments. Moments where waiting felt impossible. Moments where choosing felt safer than drifting. Moments where love was less about passion and more about resolve. In the end, Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen's sudden Beijing marriage was not a story about romance overtaking reason. It was a story about two people reaching the edge of uncertainty and stepping forward anyway, not blindly, but knowingly. And as the world continues to watch, one question remains unanswered. Was this the beginning of peace, or simply the calm before a deeper storm? Only time will tell. As the noise fades and speculation continues, one truth remains clear. Wang Ziqi and Wang Yuwen's sudden marriage was not a headline built on fantasy, but a moment shaped by pressure, choice, quiet determination. Their story reminds us that not all decisions are made in comfort. Some are made when waiting becomes more frightening than moving forward. And sometimes, love is not about certainty, it is about courage in the face of uncertainty. Thank you for staying with us through this intense and emotional journey. Time, curiosity, and openness mean everything to us. This has been Behind the Bulletin. Until our next story. Thank you for watching and listening.